Tool number 1, writing posts. Posts go out to entire groups. So that could be a group that you've created for a special project, or it could be a classroom, or it could be the whole school. So to write a new post, you just click on this green button right here. And what you'll notice is when it opens, it looks a lot like an email, and in a lot of ways it is. First thing you'll want to do is figure out who you're writing this to. As the school year gets going, what's going to happen is Pathways will generate classrooms here in ParentSquare. They'll import the information from them. So this list will get a lot longer. You'll start seeing 6th grade ELA and 6th grade social studies, 7th grade ELA, etc., etc. So you'll want to make sure you're clicking on the correct thing. As second semester begins, it will import a new classroom for 6th grade ELA and 7th grade ELA. So you'll want to make sure you click on the one that shows you the correct amount of students. For example, this 7th grade class that I've clicked on has 25 enrolled families for email. So most likely this is the correct class. But if I click on the wrong thing, for example, right now, 6th grade has not been imported, so I see 0. If the number is suspiciously low, make sure you've chosen the correct class. So you'll choose your class, you can type the subject, and then this is just like any word processing. You can use all these tools, you can insert images here, hyperlinks, calendar dates, tables, all of that can get put in here very, very easily. It also has a Translate Now tool, which is great for our families that are bilingual with parents that maybe prefer to read in Spanish. So you can shift over there. The really helpful parts about posting are these tools here on the left, the post add-ons. I'm going to walk you through these and we'll kind of come back to a couple of them in a little bit. Calendar entry RSVP. Great for if you want to host an event where parents can come into your classroom and see the work your students have been doing and you want to know how many families to expect. Very simple again. Click on the date you want, type in the time, and then you can set it to send a reminder, or you can require an RSVP from families. Attaching photos or files. This one's really helpful if you've done a cool project and you want families to be able to see it. Great way to share student work with them. Also helpful for sending home documents like your class syllabus in case, students aren't likely to actually fork that over to a parent. You can insert directly from your Drive, Google Photos, or if you have a class website you're working on, you could just insert the URL there. Forms and permission slips. I'm going to show you this briefly. This is great for field trips, also really helpful for showing films in your classroom if they are R-rated, or if you're working with the younger kids and they're PG-13. And you can require a signature. You can insert attachments if there are waivers or more information you want families to have, and then you can have families type in their student information. So a very helpful tool. We're trying to shift towards a more digital format for permission slips. Asking for items is incredibly helpful if you are having some sort of event. For example, we'll have Big River Beach coming up at the beginning of the school year. You can set a date for them to bring in the items, and then you can talk about what you need. So for example, at Big River Beach, we want families to bring, making this up on the spot, towels, and we want 20 of them to lay out on the beach. Then you can add in more items here. What happens is as families sign up to bring those things, ParentSquare automatically changes the quantity needed still. So once we've hit that quantity of 20, it could be coming from 4 or 5 families, but once we've hit that quantity of 20, it'll no longer show up as an item that needs to be brought. So it's a very helpful tool if you ever need parents to get involved. And this last one, request volunteers. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. And I'll come back to it because this is a very helpful tool for volunteer signups. I've used it for our spring carnival, but it's also an option for portfolio conferences at the end of the year. So we'll come back to that in a moment. When you're done filling out your message and you're ready to send it, you've got a few options over here on the right-hand side of the screen. Parents have and staff have the option of getting messages instantly or in a digest at the end of the day. And then they also have the options of getting them via text or email. So I typically send at user preferred time. Unless it's incredibly important, then you can override their digest settings and choose to send it instantly. And if for some reason you don't need parents to get that message individually, but you just want to make information available, you can use Do Not Notify. Over here in this drop down, we've got options for scheduling posts, which is really helpful. You can, type something up ahead of time and then have it go out first thing in the morning, right before school starts. And then, of course, you can save your draft and you can take a peek at it before you send it off. Don't forget, if you need to, translate your messages and make sure you're sending it to the correct classrooms.